sleep disorders and to connect between the wide existing solutions from multidisciplinary fields for the sleep strugglers. On our webinar, we will learn about variety techniques that can help overcome the barriers for good nights. I'm glad to introduce our two speakers of today. Dr. Yashu is an integrative medical doctor who helps people to sleep better with the sleep kits. Julie Smith is the founder of the Success Through Stillness approach and creator of Peaceful Sleep program. Anna will visualize our talk with her great design. I'd like to start with Dr. Yashu. Thank you again for joining us. Can you tell us about your background?
Certainly. So I'm a medical doctor and I specialize in integrative medicine. I had my own holistic practice in New Zealand for 14 years and I loved it. But I wanted to work in a much more integrative way, a much more holistic way. So now I work with people using my health kits, and I'm also a speaker and a trainer. And my mission is to inspire people to look after their bodies and their health, and to really value their health. And sleep is obviously an essential part of good health.
Thank you, Yashu. Sorry, I have to stop for a minute. Julie?
Next question.
Yashu, can you tell us what was the reason that you have decided to concentrate with the sleep strugglers?
Sure. Well, I feel that sleep is such an important part of good health. And as a hospital doctor, sleep was sacred to me. And I used to work every third night in the hall and spend many nights being woken up throughout the night. And that gave me sympathy for people with sleep problems. But it was only when I actually developed sleep problems myself that I really understood what not being able to sleep is like. And once I started working with it and bringing it much more into my general practice, I realized what a problem it is for so many people. And that's why I want to share it with people through my sleep kit.
Thank you. Julie, are you with us? Not yet. Yashu, can you define the people who reach you? We call them the sleep strugglers.
Sure. I think that's
the profile or the people that the type of personality that meet you for treatment.
Sure. I mean, I think the thing is, the reason why I had to create a kit is, and why it took me 9 months to develop the kit, is that people have so many different reasons why they have sleep problems. And it's not one size fits all, it's not one solution for everyone. And so some people, as you know, I'll give a case history later on if we have time, and you know, for somebody it might be that they're drinking too much caffeine, or for somebody else it might be that they've got a really busy mind, and for someone else it's something completely different. And the first step for anybody is to acknowledge that they've got a problem and actually decide that they're going to get some help. That you know, that they're not solving the problem themselves, so they actually need to get some help. I was talking to somebody just a few days ago, and they said that they've had a sleep problem for ages, and they just haven't wanted to accept that they've had a problem. And I think one of the things is that you do in SleepASAP is that you don't talk about insomnia, you talk about sleep problem, sleep suffering. And I think that's wonderful because when people start labeling it as insomnia, it's like an illness, it's like something that they have got and they're not in control of. But when you say it's a sleep problem, it's like any other problem, it's something that they can solve. I think that's really important in this context, is to really, for people who are listening, to really realize that sleep problems are just that, are very much just that. It's a problem that you can do something about and that you can solve by getting some help.
Can you tell me about the stage of, you talked about acknowledgement. Can you tell me about this, the point of acknowledgement of the problem?
Sure. Well, I
The,
mean,
the point, the reaching point that they understand that they have something that sometimes I know people are struggling with their sleep for years. And I would like to know which is the point that they acknowledge that it is something that you can deal with and they're asking for your help.
I mean, that's a really good question, because I think that's one of the biggest questions that so many people have to deal with. Like this woman I was talking to for a few days, she's had this problem for years and years and years, and it's affected her life in so many ways, and yet she's not got any help. And I think that's what's so sad for me, is that so many people just struggle along by themselves. And there's, you know, when I've talked to people, they've said, oh, well, I just have a problem. I don't have insomnia, so that means I don't. Yeah. So when, and I think that's the whole thing that you're stressing, is when people have a problem, they don't actually have to have full-blown insomnia. Yeah.
Thank you. Hello, Julie. Thank you for joining us. Can you hear me?
Okay, now can you hear and see me? I have this funny headset on because I think that's the best way forward. Technology, blessing and a curse, really, isn't it?
Julie, can you tell us about your background, please?
Yeah, sure. Well, from my accent, you can tell I'm from across the pond. I'm from Canada originally, been living in the UK for 11 years now. But back when, and I come from a corporate background, so I've worked in a lot of business consulting firms over at Barclays, those types of places. And I got to say, 15, 20 years ago, what I do now, which is meditation, teaching meditation, I thought it was, I say, cuckoo bananas stuff, yeah? And one of the things, when I can relate to what the doctor there is saying, because I used to suffer from serious sleep problems myself back in Canada. I went to a sleep doctor. I hate to say that for years I was taking sleeping pills almost like they were candy, because I was just so desperate to get sleep. And when I started meditating, that more fell away. Like, I must admit, when I went to the sleep doctor, there was many things they taught me about sleep hygiene, which was really key to helping me. But I still struggled with my own mind. And when I started to meditate, like I say, that naturally, it wasn't like I was trying didn't start meditation for that purpose, but that was a natural effect of the meditation. And so when I started to teach meditation, again, it was something that I started to teach for various reasons, and I saw the same impact on my students. So their sleep problems were going away as well. So meditation was transforming their life in many other aspects. And then I looked into the research, and it pointed in that same direction. And I thought, wow, I really need to help people that are suffering out there, because a lot of my ex-colleagues were also suffering. And that's why I created the sleep system that I have today.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I'd like to know when people come to you to meditate, to learn about meditation.
Yeah.
Can you define the people that come to you? Who are the sleep strugglers that are reaching?
Yes. Well, this is a good question because I think there's such a varied background of people that are struggling with sleep issues, and that was one of the things when I started teaching meditation. I went, "Wow, it wasn't just me. There's a lot of sleepy people out there." But a lot of my clients come from a corporate background. They come like I came from. Just seem to be attracting those type of people. Very busy lives. Again. A lot of times, I think the three main things that I see is people that are struggling to get to sleep. People like the problems they're having. They wake up in the middle of the night, or they're feeling when they wake up, they're not even feeling refreshed. Like, did I even sleep?
Mm-hmm.
So, the people that I'm seeing, those are the main struggles that they seem to be having, and for me, the meditation. What the main result is, it helps with all of those areas. And there's many other problems people have. Sleep apnea seems to be quite popular, restless leg syndrome. There's many different things. But meditation really helps is with those three things, especially the quality of sleep.
Thank you. And I would like now to know about, to learn about the methods, the tools that you both provide sleep strugglers. Yashu, I'd like to start with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's great, Julie, what you do. I'm really a fan of meditation, and that's one of the things that ultimately I want to share with people. However, in my kit, and maybe it's because I have a different, I'm not doing it so much one-on-one. I do a lot of guided relaxations and guided visualizations. I'm an NLP trainer as well, and I use NLP and hypnosis and things like that, those sorts of tools to help people relax, because, I mean, I'm a meditator, and meditation is something that's core for my life, and I love it. It's incredible. But I think that so many people, by the time that they get, I think in Julie's situation it's different from the situation of those people that I have worked with. Except once again, I work with a broad spectrum of people. So when people haven't meditated and they don't want to meditate, a good way to start is by doing guided relaxations and guided visualizations. And I have story time. I've recorded a story, and people can listen to that, and that's free, and it's on your Facebook page. So it's all about calming the mind, because as we know, insomnia is otherwise known as hyperarousal disorder, and it's that busyness of the mind. And when you look at the brain waves of a busy mind, they're much faster than the brain waves of sleep, and then deep sleep. So what we're doing is we're trying to get, both Julie and myself, we're trying to get people to slow their minds down so that they can drop more easily into sleep, into light sleep and then deep sleep.
Thank you very much. Julie, can you tell about your tools? I'm really interested about how people, you talked about the cooperation and the rhythm that the high rhythm that people come to you to relax themselves. Can you tell us how people adjust those techniques that are quite the opposite of the rhythm of their daily life? How do you adjust to this technique?
Okay, you're cutting out in here and there, but I think I got the gist of your conversation or your question. And you're right. A lot of people.
Want me to repeat myself?
No, it's fine. I think well, unless I'm really veering off and not answering your question, yeah. I think it's just the connection. But last night I just taught a group of people where it's just what you're talking about. It's almost like we're in we've trained ourselves so much to just be busy, busy, busy. We can't let go of that. And the techniques I use, so all meditation, there's research that says any meditation, whether it's in the morning or at night, the technique will help improve your sleep. But I focus on very specific methods of meditation that help promote sleep. And one of those key principles I use is that of releasing. So it is retraining ourselves to actually let go. I call it letting go of the day before you go off to sleep. Highly important, and it's almost counterintuitive for people, especially when they're just running around all day. So that it actually is a training because it's habitual. It's not our natural way. I'm teaching people to work more harmoniously with their body instead of against it. Yeah. So using the power of our mind and actually tuning in, it's awareness, like, wow, I've got all this tension, this busyness, and this ability to release. So that's one of the main principles. The other one is about elevating emotion. And again, if people, I'm sure everyone can relate, sometimes you might have an argument and then go to bed. Wow, that's a bad sleep. Yeah. And this is the opposite. Again, when you start watching your mind, you realize the negativity in there is just enormous. So this idea of being more kind to ourselves, more loving to ourselves, easier on ourselves, and then passing that to others. Also, an elevation of emotion, going to sleep in that way is much better. So these principles of releasing, elevating emotion, and then I combine that with the use of sound. And how sound, it complements the meditation. And because I do a lot of work with chakras, and if people don't know what that is, it's simply the energy flowing through your body, so these certain points. And so sound is really effective for helping opening any areas where we have blockage of energy and allowing that flow just to move through the body with more ease. And that again promotes relaxation, promotes sleep. Letting go of that tension in a very natural and easy way.
Thank you, Julie. Yashu, can you tell us about the feedback that you're getting with from people that have adjusted your techniques? What are the reports about the new adjustment?
Well, that's really interesting because I think of problems with sleep as like a red light that comes on in the car, like a red light that comes on in the car, and a lot of people go to the doctor and they want to get a sticky plaster to plaster over that red light. In other words, they want a quick fix and they want to get rid of it and for it not to be there. And what I'm teaching, and by the sounds of it, what Julie does too, is to say, what is the gift here? What is the gift of insomnia? And a lot of people don't see that right up front and don't want to see it because they just want a quick fix. But what the thing that I'm finding really exciting is when people get into working with their mind and working with everything and seeing insomnia in a different way and not wanting that pharmaceutical fix, that pill. They are seeing it as a gift. They're seeing it, as Julie says, it might be that their lives are frantic and they're just too busy. It might be that they're waking up at night worried that, one person was waking up at night worried that she was being bullied at work. And during the day she kept herself so busy so she wouldn't have to deal with it. And it was only at night time that it came out to bite her, so to speak. And by having that opportunity of tossing and turning in bed, not being able to go to sleep, worrying about this issue, made her go and get help. And then she realized that she didn't want to put up with that, and she didn't need to put up with that. And she left her job, got another job, and broke that cycle of being bullied. So,
Wow.
So she looked back at it, and it was such a gift to her. And somebody else was doing a job. I'm being very mindful that I don't break confidence here, but somebody else was doing a job that was really, really creative, but wasn't bringing any money in. And during the day was so busy rushing around trying to do this amazing dream job, but at night time was like frantically worried about the fact that how was he going to pay the rent next week. And once again, he went and got help from a counsellor and realised he needed to have more balance in his life, that he needed to have, X number of days making the money and then X number of days being creative. And so once again, he saw that problem sleeping as a gift. And I think the whole thing is, in our quick fix culture, so many people just want that quick fix. They want it to go away because they just want to get on with their life. They see that problem sleeping as an annoyance. Whereas if you can just stop and say, okay, the red light's come on in the car, what does that mean? Let's stop, go back to the drawing board and see what's happening. And again and again and again, people that I've worked with see it as a gift.
Thank you, Yashu. I would like to talk also with Julie about this red light. Can you talk about the red light that you're meeting? You talked about your personal red light that you have experienced.
Yes. Well, and I think Dr. Yashu is completely right. It's this thing where, again, when I work with people with meditation, it's not any kind of alarm. It's just, yes, like she said, an indicator. Something is wrong. Let's check it out. If you have that mindset, instead of getting, like I say, kind of frenzied about it, because people are already frenzied enough. There's a lot of anxiety around even the notion of sleeping lots of times, because it's become a habit. Oh no, I have to go to sleep, and this forcing this, And I see clients just like she's talking about as well, where it's almost, they've come to me and said, like, this has given me my life back. Because when you're at that point, when you're exhausted, you're irritable. One of my clients, it was affecting her relationship with her husband. It was, the sex drive included in that, but also relationships with people. She was underperforming at work, and just felt like this was exhausting depleting all of her energy. So when she felt like she was in control again of her own mind, and it was very hard. I remember when she first came to even get her to that point to think that she was doing it to herself, really, and that gave her power back. Then saying, okay, if I'm doing this to myself, then I can retrain myself. And this is another good point that Dr. Yashu made, is that it's not a quick fix. A lot of people I see, yes, it'll improve their sleep like immediately, but you have to work with it, and over time, that's where the transformation comes, and you feel like I actually have control of my sleep again and control of my life, and that's such a blessing when people start to experience that.
Great, Julie. And with that sentence, I would like to close it with the very important question. What would be your answer for the people who really look for the quick fix? People that are lacking patience and looking for, and sometimes not aware that it's time that that it's worth to give all this time to the process.
Yes.
Can you give in a sentence the answer for the people who would like the quick fix?
For myself first,
Yashu, can we start with you?
Okay. Well, firstly, I'd just like to say I completely understand why they want that quick fix. However, don't miss this opportunity. That's what I would say. This is like your whole body, your body, mind, and spirit saying, stop, go back to the drawing board, look at the problem, and take this opportunity to look at what's really going on.
Thank you. Julie?
Yes, I would agree. But I do think there is something, like I said, most people that try meditation, it is something that helps them right away. But you have to stick with it in the long term. What I would say is, I would love them all to come to me. That's fantastic. But what is key is that they find someone that resonates with them. If that's me, great, I'm here. If not, find somebody that resonates with you and stop how do I say, being a victim to it, and know that you can do something about it, and just go out and seek something and find someone that resonates with you. That's the key. Try something and try it now. Stop thinking about doing something, and just, there's many things that could potentially help.
So take control and empower yourself. That would be the closure for this session.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Yashu and Julie. Anna, let's see our drawing, the translation for our session. Wow, beautiful. Okay, we'll broadcast it later on. Anything else that you would like to add to our viewers? Any other message, important message that you would like to add?
Well, for myself, I hope you don't mind, I'm going to suggest people go to my website, julie-smith.net. They can download a free meditation, and that would give them a starting point to see if they think meditation could work for them.
Thank you.
I'd like to add that I think the most important thing from this whole webinar is to realize that it's time to get help. It's time, you know, Julie and I are on a very similar page because we're both advocating that you don't have that quick fix. We're both advocating that people do something about it. And I hear so many people wasting years of their life struggling because they're not getting the help that they need.
Yeah.
So my biggest message is stop struggling alone, get help. Get help.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Great.
Thank you all our audience who have joined our webinar. We invite you to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Google+. Have a pleasant evening, everyone.
Goodbye.
Thanks. Bye.
Goodbye.